Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be doing an experiment where I bake cookies following the recipe. I bake cookies with triple the amount of baking soda, and I bake cookies with no baking soda at all. My goal is to end up being able to understand what baking soda does within a cookie by doing this experiment. And I'm going to do it in a two-part video set, where the first video is just going to be doing the experiment and what happened, and then the second part will be after I've done some research based on my results to really understand what the baking soda does. So, as a good scientist, let's do a hypothesis of what baking soda does in a cookie, because I don't know. In many of the chemistry lab classrooms at the university where I study, there's a big bottle of baking soda on all the supply shelves. And if you spill an acid, you grab this baking soda and pour it on the acid to neutralize the acid. And in this process, the reaction between the baking soda and the acid bubbles. And so my guess is that within the cookie, there is some acid, what it is, I don't know. Which ingredient might be an acid, I don't know. But that the baking soda will react with whatever this acid is and bubble, and then cause air bubbles within the cookie. And so I'm guessing that cookies with no baking soda will be flat because they won't have this reaction causing these air bubbles. And cookies with too much baking soda will be puffier. That is my guess, and I will do the experiment right now and we can see what happens. Okay, the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda, so we're gonna add 3 teaspoons of baking soda. 1, 2, 3. The 2-hour timer for the control is done, so I'm going to take the control out and put them on this cookie sheet. dough with too much baking soda is done. We can start turning it into cookies. This feels softer, maybe. Like, doesn't that seem like I'm cutting through it easier? Okay, taking out the no baking soda dough. That's a lot more sign. We've rolled up the cookies that have no baking soda, and the dough was a lot harder. I could hardly get my knife through it, and it broke apart more. It was more crumbly. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in. Okay, moment of truth. Well, those definitely look different. Okay, well that's an argument that these are flatter.
Yeah.
Because these are less flat. So it was the opposite of what I guessed though. This is the one, these are the cookies that had too much baking soda. The recipe called for amount of baking soda and no baking soda at all. And I think we can clearly see that as we go, too much baking soda is flatter and no baking soda is much less flat, spreads across the pan less. So definitely some easy visual differences, and we might be able to argue that the no baking soda are lighter and the cookies get darker as you add more baking soda. I just touched all the cookies, and the cookies with no baking soda are much softer than the normal cookies. And then the ones with too much baking soda are kind of hard. Like, I don't know if you can hear that, but it makes a hard sound. Taste the cookie. I'm gonna start with the too much baking soda cookie. Tastes kind of funny.
In what way? Not good?
As I go longer, like I'm getting this bad aftertaste. Maybe it's baking soda. It's gross. It doesn't seem like we added too much extra. Like a weird taste, now that I've rinsed my mouth out, so as not to taint the taste of this next cookie, I'm going to eat the normal cookie. Like, it tastes like a chocolate chip cookie. Good. After just having both cookies, I would say this one tastes sweeter in general. So maybe I'm getting some sort of extra baking soda taste that makes that one taste less sweet and more, I don't know if sour is the right word, but less sweet. Okay. Now the cookie with no baking soda. Looks disgusting. Softer. Taste-wise, I prefer this one over the one with too much baking soda. By a lot. This kind of just tastes like a cookie. I think it tastes similar to the normal chocolate chip cookie. It's softer. But I don't think it's worse. Like, taste-wise, it's a similar taste to me. Okay. So it is interesting to note that when I was cutting the dough to form the balls, the no baking soda dough was the hardest that I could hardly get my knife through, but it created the softest cookie, whereas the too much baking soda was the soft dough that I could kind of pull apart with my hands, and it's made the harder cookie. So that's just an interesting thing to note about the dough versus the cookie texture. Because we noticed the negative taste that showed up in the too much baking soda cookies, especially like after chewing for a while, my cameraman has told me that he wants me to try baking soda by itself to see how bad it tastes. Hopefully, this is not gonna harm me in any way. It doesn't taste good, but it's not as bad as how. It does taste worse the longer I have it in my mouth, like the cookie. I don't think I have more to say about it though.